In this video, I'm going to share a technique for working squares in rounds using single crochets where the joins happen at the corner, the join of each round, and they are, I'll say, unobtrusive. I won't say invisible because if you know what you're looking for, you'll be able to tell that these three diagonals are ever so slightly different from that diagonal, but I think you'd really have to be looking for it in order to notice it. First, I want to explain the theory. If you understand the theory, the rest of it should make sense. When you're working a round of a square, every side starts and ends with some kind of corner increase. It could be chain stitches like these, or it could be half double crochets, which I've drawn as these T's, and everything else is just single crochets. The one exception is the place where we start and end. Where we start and end, there's going to be a starting chain that's going to get us up to the right height. The starting chain gets ignored, and the very last corner stitch gets replaced with a slip stitch. So here's what I mean. I finish this round on the inside, starting chain to get high enough, corner, sides, corner, corner, sides, corner. My corner is a half double crochet into the same stitch. I'm going to start my single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. For my corner into the same stitch, I'll do a half double crochet into the same stitch. I do single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. And if this were an ordinary corner, I would end this side with a half double crochet. It's not, it's where it started. So I skip my starting chain and I do a slip stitch into my very first half double crochet. Similarly, if we're doing chains, let's say I just finished my last round, I'm going to do a starting chain in order to get myself up to the right height. And then I'm going to do another chain, which is the corner chain, single crochet across, corner chain, single crochet across, corner chain, single crochet across, corner chain, single crochet across. And then the last thing would be a corner chain, but because this is the starting corner, I'm going to replace my last corner stitch with a slip stitch. So I will slip stitch. It doesn't show up super well on the chart, but here's my corner chain, not my starting chain. I'm going to slip stitch into my corner chain. Now I'll show you what this actually looks like. I'm going to start with a magic loop. That first slip stitch just tightens the loop. It doesn't get us high enough for the next round. So we're going to start with, I guess it's still called a turning chain, even if you don't turn, a starting chain maybe, to get to the right height. Now we're going to work half of that corner. So half double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet, and that makes my first side. Now we're in the middle, so nothing is too complicated. Half double, single, half double. That's going to be my second side. Half double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet. That's my third side. Now for the fourth side, half double crochet, single crochet, and now there's only one stitch left. And remember, the last stitch is the one that is not a real stitch. It's going to be my starting chain plus a slip stitch. So let's tighten up this magic loop. Now you can see it really looks like more like a square, less like a circle, right? So our first side goes half double, single, half double. Second side goes half double, single, half double. Third side, 1, 2, 3. Fourth side, half double, single. And then in place of that last half double crochet, I'm going to come here to my first half double crochet. So see, here's the chain. Here's that first half double crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch into there. So the slip stitch, the turning chain is going to be the vertical part, just like an actual stitch would have. And then the slip stitch is going to have the more or less correct horizontal width. So there's round one. For round two, I want you to keep track of where this stitch was. That might help. I want you to keep track of where this stitch was because this is where we're going to be starting. So I like to slip stitch into this half double crochet, and then on the next round we're going to start in that same hole. I find that easier to keep track of. So we're going to chain 1 to get to the right height. When we're done, this is going to be sort of the vertical part of our fake half double crochet. Starting in this half double crochet, the same one I slipped into, I'm going to half double crochet. And then because it's a corner, half double crochet and single crochet go into the same stitch. Now single crochet into the single crochet. Now I'm to a half double crochet. So these 3 stitches made up the first side on my round 1. I'm going to single crochet, and then to make the corner into the same stitch, half double crochet. All right, now side 2. Here's my half double crochet, so I work 2 stitches, the half double crochet to make the corner and the single crochet to start the side. Here is a single crochet, make a side. Here is a half double crochet. So single crochet to make the corner, half double crochet, single crochet to make the side, half double crochet to make the corner. Okay, side 3, 2 stitches in the first one, a half double crochet to make the corner and a single crochet. Now I'm just working along the side. Last stitch, I'm going to single crochet and into that same stitch, half double crochet. Now I'm on my last side, so this is always the tricky one when we end. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3 stitches of my last side. So these 2 are going to be normal. So here's my corner stitch and side stitch. So half double crochet, that's the corner increase, single crochet in the same stitch, single crochet. Now what should happen now? In an ordinary side, I would do in this same stitch a single crochet and then a half double crochet. It's the very last stitch that gets edited out. So I single crochet, and then instead of a half double crochet, I come around here to stitch number 1. So there's my turning chain. There's stitch number 1, and I'm going to slip stitch there. And that slip stitch takes the place of that final half double crochet. Let's do one more round. So starting chain to get to the right height, and then in the same stitch is where I'm going to start. And let's also just quickly check. We should have 5 stitches per side. It goes 3, 5, 7, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is indeed my first stitch. This stitch and that stitch, this is where my corner increases happen, and so those are going to get extra half double crochets in them. So half double crochet into the same stitch, single crochet down the side. Now I'm on the last stitch of this side in the previous round, so I do a corner increase, single crochet into that stitch, and then half double crochet to make the corner. All right, now I'm almost done with my 3rd round. So I did a half double crochet and a single crochet in this first stitch, single, single, single. And then if this were an ordinary round, I would do a single crochet and a half double crochet in this same stitch. It's not an ordinary round, it's ending. So I'll do my single crochet, and then instead of the half double crochet, here's the turning chain, here's the first half double crochet. I'm just going to slip stitch into that half double crochet. So my ordinary single crochet, but instead of working my final half double crochet, I'm going to slip stitch right there. So you can start to see that the corner where we're doing the work, the corner where we're starting our rounds, doesn't look particularly different from the other corners. Again, if you know what to look for and you look really closely, you can figure out that these are not actually half double crochets, but it has the right size, and so your has the right size, and so your square is going to have the right shape. I like to use half double crochet corner increases because they don't give the holes that chain corner increases do. But when I'm changing colors, I like to do chain corner increases. And of course, some people prefer chain corner increases. So let's change colors and also do a chain corner increase for the next round. Now again, let's keep track. My final slip stitch, that's where I am, was into this corner half double crochet. So that's always where I'm going to want to start my single crochets. This is part of this side, so it needs to have a single crochet in it. I'm going to change my color at this point. Some people like to change it. You could change it one step before if you wanted. You could make the slip stitch in this case, blue. This way there's a little bit of brown in my blue round. If I changed it before, there'd be a little bit of blue in my brown round. Okay, so that stitch I just made, that was the chain to get higher, right? This was my slip stitch. When I pulled the blue through, that was the chain to get higher. I also have a chain for the corner. So I'm going to do one more chain, and that is my corner chain. And now I'm going to start with my single crochets across the row, starting again exactly where I slipped into. Now I'm at the corner. Instead of doing a half double crochet here, I'm going to do a chain, and that's my first side. For the second side, chain, and then start with my single crochets. I finished my second side, chain, chain starts my third side, single crochets. Done my third side now, chain, chain starts my fourth side. This is my last side, so remember everything except the very last stitch, which in this case is a chain, is going to be totally normal. And one nice thing to check is if you started the way I started, with one single crochet and two half double crochets on a side, because you're increasing 2 stitches every go, you're always going to have an odd number of single crochets. So if you're not sure, like, ooh, is it this stitch or the stitch before or after, it's nice to check that you have an odd number. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is odd, so that's good. All right, now ordinarily I would finish with a single chain. Since I'm actually finishing now, I need to put my last chain into my first chain. So let's be a little careful here again. This is my single crochet. So this is my first chain, and that's where I'm going to put my slip stitch in lieu of another chain. Again, we have a little bit of brown in the blue round. If we had did our final slip stitch of this round in blue, we might have just a little blue in the brown round. So let's do another round of chain corners. So I finished my slip stitch. This first chain is just to get me up to the right height. Now I do my corner chain, and I'm going to single crochet across, and I put a single crochet in every stitch, including the chain stitches, which means, as normal, I put my first single crochet in the stitch that I slipped into. So this chain stitch gets a single crochet. And again, it can be helpful to remember you should have an odd number of single crochets going across every side. So if you're not sure exactly where to put your first stitch, you can count backwards from the edge and make sure you have an odd number. Okay, so here's my turning chain. I'm going to put a single crochet into the chain, not the chain space unless you want a gap. Corner chain, and now back to the side. So again, I'm putting my stitches into the chain. All right, I get to the corner, stitch in the chain, corner stitch, stitch in the chain. So now I'm ending. Now, if this were an ordinary corner, what would I do? Here is my a chain. So I would make a normal single crochet into that chain, and then I would do a chain stitch for the corner. Instead of the chain stitch, I'm just going to be doing a slip stitch into that first corner stitch, that first chain. So again, here is the first single crochet. That makes this the first chain. This down here was just the starting chain to get me up to the right height.